Mr. Chair, Ranking Member Chu, and members of the subcommittee, good morning. I am Rosana, Privitera Biondo, president of Mark I Electric Company, headquarters in Kansas City, Missouri. Our company does both prime and subcontracting work. I concede the issues from both sides. Today, I'm testifying in the capacity as president of Women Construction Owners and Executives, WCOE. Our mission is to create contracting opportunities for our members. Our members are women. We have just completed our 28th annual leadership conference here in D.C., and we had women business owners from across the country discuss these important issues. Let me begin with size standards. The SBA size standards in construction are based on either revenue or number of employees. We at WCOE like the SBA's office to change the process from revenue to number of employees. Here is why. A small specialty contractor is capped at a $14 million revenue. Then once they exceed those numbers, they are now a large company. Yet a company that you may buy material supplies from may have a revenue that exceeds that same $14 million number, yet their company is not considered small. They're still considered small. And the reason they are still considered small is that they are done by the number of employees. So in this very avenue, you have companies who have all types of dollar ranges that differ, yet number of employees seems to be a better way to calculate whether a company is large or small. So we urge them to look at calculating the size of a company based on number of employees. Bid shopping. We need this to stop. This hurts women in all small businesses. We would like the agency to implement a process that on all sealed bids that the prime contractor would submit, that they would be required to list their major subcontractors by name, scope, and dollar value at the time of bid. This would eliminate the after the fact low bid substitution. This happens both in the private and public sector. Example, I bid a job, and on that day, the general contractor comes back to me and says, we used you on this project, you are the low bidder. Weeks go by, you never hear any more from them, and then you're asked, what happened? That you are told that after the fact that a lower bid came in, and so they used that bid. So the question is, at the time of bid, if this was the federal government, and I was low at the time of bid, they used my number? Where did that money go? Did the federal government get that savings? And it's just not a fair process. So we would like to see, again, I'll say it again, we would like to see on sealed bids that the majority subcontractors be listed by name, value, and scope of work. This would give the contracting officers the ability to police this through their contract process, and this would help small businesses of all kinds. WOSB, Women-Owned Small Business Program. They refer to this as 8M. This was implemented last year. This program is intended for restricted competition for women-owned businesses seeking prime contracts, very much like the 8A program and the Service Disabled Veterans Program. This is not what we got. It is restricting our women to a $4 million cap on the size of projects. That statistic shows that the $4 million dollar value created by 165,000 projects, that the size of the contracts end up being $118,000 for 165,000 procurements. Well, companies that do $118,000 may or may not make a few $1,000s at the end of the day. That is not a way to grow new businesses, and especially for women. The women have waited 11 years for this program to be enacted, and then we're being capped right out of the chute. But the other two, 8A and Service Disabled Vets, are not. And just to give you some further statistics, contracts that are over the $4 million value created about 2,125 projects with a base contract of $16.6 million. This is what women need to grow their companies in order for them to become more successful, not this $4 million cap. Now, we understand that this has already started to be addressed, but we urge you to remove these caps. Retention and bonding. In the federal government contracting, it says that retention is at the discretion of the contracting officer. We think that retention should only be held on work in question and nothing else. We feel that if a bond is in place, for sure no retention should be held, as that is double dipping. The bond should protect the owner. Bundling. Bundling, or the grouping together of different requirements into one enormous contract. They may or may not, let me start over, bundling, or grouping together of different requirements into one enormous contract means small businesses cannot compete as primes. They may or may not be getting subcontracting work, but do not get prime work. However, the current unbundling rules do not apply to new construction contracts. So many small construction firms don't get the protection given to the small business in other industries. We need these protections. Bundling hurts the women-owned business. And in conclusion, given the importance of contracting, WCOE, we applaud Chairman Graves for introducing the Government Efficiency Through Small Business Act of 2012. We also express our support and thanks to you, Chairman, for introducing H.R. 3893 on subcontracting, and you, Ranking Member Chu, for your work on mentor-protege programs. We also want to thank the Congressman Hanna for his bonding bill and the other committee members who have been or in the process of introducing small business contracting legislation. Thank you.